Welcome back to Evolve with Unique. It's your girl Carolyn. Before I get started, I'm just cleansing the space, removing any negative energy, cleansing your aura. You ever hear the saying that you shouldn't assume? Because when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. And we all do it, right? We all do it. We always assume how people are going to react to things we say. We always assume how things are going to play out in our lives. And since I've been on my self-love journey, since I've been on my journey of healing and living authentically and discovering things about myself, I've realized that this is a journey, right? Like, we're always changing, we're always going to be evolving, we're always going to be learning lessons. And that's what it's about. It's about getting to know yourself on a deeper level and learning healthier ways to go through life, right? Because a lot of us were conditioned from a young age, or even just conditioned by society, as we got into relationships, or as we've been on the job, or just, connections that we've had over time. We've been conditioned to handle things in a toxic way. And so even when you're on this journey of healing, getting to know yourself, unlearning bad behavior, incorporating healthier ways to deal with things, you're still going to be learning more about yourself, right? Because I'm 37 years old, so that means that I have been living in somewhat of an unhealthy way for 35 years of my life, because I started my journey 2 years ago. So for 35 years of my life, I have been operating one way. And now I'm having to literally reprogram myself so that I can start doing things that are healthier for me, so that I can start thinking healthier, so that I can change my mindset and be more positive. And it's still a struggle, right? But it's okay, because I'm not perfect. I'm human, and we're allowed to make mistakes. But that saying that you shouldn't assume because you make an ass out of you and me, it speaks volumes, because I found myself doing it. And I still struggle with it, right? Because sometimes we think the worst case scenarios when it comes to dealing with people, right? Because you just don't know how people will take what you're saying to them, or how they will react to the way you feel. And recently I had two incidences where I had to have a conversation with somebody, and I was assuming the worst thing. And then when I had the conversation, it was just like nothing like what I expected it to be. And in the moment, I was just like, wow, I wasn't expecting that conversation. Wow, I wasn't expecting that response. But the reality is, we have to stop setting expectations and assuming we know how someone is going to react to the things that we have to say to them. Because when you do that, you are literally setting yourself up for disappointment. And a lot of times we're psyching ourselves up, thinking the worst case scenarios, thinking all these crazy thoughts of what an outcome could be, or how someone could react. And then when it happens, it is absolutely like nothing that we even thought about, right? And so it was like God was reminding me, Source was reminding me yet again, live in the moment. Stop focusing on the future conversations and how you think someone is going to react to something that you have to say, or a conversation that you need to have, or even, let's say, something that you're trying to manifest into your life, a job or an interview that you may have. Stop trying to assume that you know what the outcome is going to be when you have absolutely no idea. And that's why it's important to live in the present moment. That's why it's important to focus on the now, because this is the only thing that we have. This is the only thing that's guaranteed, the thing that is right in front of us. And the more we teach ourselves to be in the present moment, the more we teach ourselves to stop setting expectations and thinking that we know how things are going to come out in our favor, the better it is going to be for us to have a peace of mind. And so every single day, you just have to tell yourself, let me focus on today. Let me not worry about tomorrow or the next week or the next year. Let me focus on right now, what's in front of me right now, because this is the only thing that I have control over. How I react to situations is the only thing I have control over. I have no control over how people think, how people treat me. I have no control over circumstances that happen in my life. The only thing I have control over is the way that I react and respond to situations. And so that's why it's important to not set expectations. That's why it's important not to not assume that you know how people are going to react to you, how conversations are going to play out, or assume that you know whether or not you're going to get this job or this business is going to take off. Stop making assumptions. Stop expecting the worst case scenarios and just learn to be in the present moment. And that's something that I've been struggling with because my entire life I've felt like I needed to control every aspect of my life, because at some point I felt like that was the only way that I would feel safe. And so some lessons for me are easier than others. Understanding that I need to remove certain energies that are negative, that weigh me down, that limit me. That's easy. That's an easy lesson to let go. But when it comes to control, I've literally controlled my life forever. And so it's something that I struggle with. But I'm glad that I know I struggle with it, right? Because when you're aware of your weaknesses, or when you're aware of those unhealthy patterns that you have in your life, it's a beautiful thing, because then you know you can focus on that and you can learn to be present in the moment, aware of your actions, and correct it as it starts to come into your life, or as you start becoming aware in that moment of what you're doing. And that's what this journey is about. Being aware of yourself, being aware of your actions, learning how to start being healthier, removing that old conditioning of bad habits, those habits that were self-sabotaging you, those habits that were keeping you stagnant, those habits that were affecting your relationships, affecting you from feeling confident in the things that you do. And so I encourage you today, start looking within. Don't be hard on yourself. When you see you're doing things that is no longer serving you, right? Because now you're trying to get to a place of incorporating healthier choices in your life. Don't be hard on yourself when you notice that you're still doing things that you no longer want to do, right? Because you have literally been operating one way your entire life, and now you're trying to change that, and it's not going to happen overnight. So take time with yourself, be easy, and just learn. Stop setting expectations. Stop assuming the worst case scenarios, because the reality is you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And we're not guaranteed to even see tomorrow. So why worry about it? Why focus on the what ifs? Focus on now. So I hope this message helps. If you need help on your journey, go check out my website, www.evolvewithunique.com. I hope you have a blessed day and good luck on your journey.